Some new stories for you from Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia and Sudan. Firstly, Sudan, where for the last 8 days some sit-ins have been ongoing, but today one sit-in was lifted. A Sudanese Resistance Committee of Khartoum made this announcement of lifting of the sit-in a few hours ago. Second news story is about Eritrea Somalia relations. Unconfirmed reports are being shared that Somalia's newly elected president Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud is going to visit Eritrea. A third news story is about Jaal Marroo Oromia. Marroo, commander of Oromo Liberation Army, while federal government, Amhara regional government, Oromia regional government are accusing Jaal Marroo's OLA of being behind ethnic killings in Valaga, Oromia. Jaal Marroo is going to speak in coming hours. He'll be interviewed after a few hours. Fourthly, we have a new story about journalists from the Amhara region and an activist who were arrested more than a month ago. A court granted them bail, but they have not been released so far. Fifthly, a short clip for you showing a press conference held and conducted by Nama Party, National Movement of Amharas. Balat Mola and Tahir Muhammad, two party leaders, held this press briefing, but suddenly they got angry with journalists who asked some very tough questions. And lastly, we have a new story from Tigray. An Eritrean YouTuber helped raise funds for the people of Tigray, for Eritreans living in Tigray. And today, Tigray government distributed the funds sent by this YouTuber from the US, I think. I think it's based in the US, not confirmed though. Firstly, we have Sudan, where 4 sit-ins have been ongoing against the government, against military for the last 9 days. One sit-in has been lifted. Sit-in started around 9 days ago when Sudanese protested. Tens of thousands took to the streets. Sudanese military used force and around 10 protesters were killed. After that, Sudanese military announced to withdraw from talks being held between Sudanese military and civilian forces, civilian factions. Now, Sudanese military is out of talks and civilians have been invited to create consensus to form a government. Sit-ins have been ongoing, 4 sit-ins, one in Omdurman, second one in Bahri, third one in Khartoum city, and fourth one in Jazeera state, Madani. One sit-in has been lifted. The sit-in was in Khartoum city, capital of Sudan. Al-Joda sit-in close to Al-Joda hospital came to an end today. Sudanese Resistance Committee made this announcement about lifting of this sit-in. The Resistance Committee said that people were facing problems because nearby is the hospital, Al-Joda hospital, close to this sit-in. That is why it was lifted. And secondly, on a Saturday, Eidul Adha will be celebrated, and prayer will be held close to this sit-in. That is why the protesters have decided to call off this sit-in in Khartoum city. 3 other sit-ins are still continuing reportedly. Meanwhile, no progress so far. Sudanese military invited Sudanese civilians to create consensus to form a government. So far, no breakthrough announced by Sudanese civilian factions, political parties, FFC, and other factions. Second news story is about Somalia-Eritrea relations. Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud was elected as the new president of Somalia on the 15th of May. Eritrea did not congratulate Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud. We did not see any congratulatory message from Eritrean president, from Eritrean government, Eritrean Information Ministry as well. And Eritrea did not attend. No one from Eritrea, no top official from Eritrea attended Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud's inauguration ceremony. So, rumors going around that Eritrea-Somalia relations are not very friendly. And we know that previous president of Somalia, Abdullahi Farmajo, was a close ally of Isaias Afwerki. Isaias Afwerki of Eritrea, PM Abiy of Ethiopia, and Abdullahi Farmajo of Somalia. They signed a tripartite agreement in 2019, I think. So the three were on the same page regarding regional issues, regional politics. The alliance has been broken. Farmajo is gone. Now Hassan Sheikh is new president. We know that around 5,000 Somalia soldiers are in Eritrea. They were sent for training by previous government of President Farmajo. And then we heard rumors, we saw unconfirmed reports that these Somalia soldiers were deployed by Eritrea to fight in Tigray. Though we never saw a visual confirmation that Somalia soldiers fought against Tigray Defense Force in Tigray. Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, after his election, went to the United Arab Emirates on his first official visit abroad, then Turkey. And now unconfirmed reports are being shared that in coming days, Hassan Sheikh is due to visit Eritrea. And there's this issue of Somalia soldiers under training in Eritrea will also be discussed. We know that Somalia's presidential spokesperson has denied rumors that Eritrea demanded $30 million from Somalia as expenditure on the training of Somalia soldiers. It has been denied by Somalia's government. And secondly, we know that yesterday a UN Human Rights Council session was held to extend the mandate of UN Special Rapporteur on Eritrea. Abdul Salam Babikar's mandate was extended for 1 year. Voting was held at UN Human Rights Council, 47-member body. And Somalia supported Eritrea in yesterday's session. Somalia voted against extension in the mandate of UN Special Rapporteur on Eritrea, which Eritrea opposes. Eritrea has not given access to this Special Rapporteur since his appointment, which was several years ago. So Somalia stood with Eritrea at Human Rights Council session yesterday. Is Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud going to visit Eritrea? So far, no official announcement from Eritrean or Somalia's government. Hassan Sheikh has not visited Kenya so far because Kenya is due to hold presidential election next month in August. And Hassan Sheikh wants to visit Kenya after the election of new president in Kenya. But unconfirmed reports are being shared that he could visit Eritrea in coming days. We'll update you if it happens. Thirdly, viewers, we have a new story about Oromo Liberation Army, an armed group operating in the Oromo region of Ethiopia, which has launched an armed struggle fighting for years in Oromia. The group was accused of civilian killings. In the past 2 weeks, we have seen two civilian massacres in which civilians were killed in Valaga zone of Oromia, in Gimbi and in Kallam Valaga. And both massacres were blamed on Oromo Liberation Army. Ethiopian federal government, Oromo regional government, Amhara regional president, all accused OLA, called Shene as well, that OLA was behind these massacres in which hundreds of innocent civilians, mostly ethnic Amharas, have been killed. But then we saw a statement, a video message by Hangasa Ibrahim, who is a member of parliament from the Oromo region of Ethiopia. He accused Oromo regional president, Oromo regional forces and militias that they were involved in the killings happening, civilian killings happening in Valaga. Now, in coming hours, Jaal Marroo, OLA commander, is due to speak. He will be interviewed in coming hours by Riot Media. It would be interesting to see what Jaal Marroo says about Valaga massacre, about Gimbi, about Kallam Valaga massacres. So we'll update you in detail about Jaal Marroo's interview, which will be broadcast after a few hours. Fourthly, we have a new story from the Amhara region of Ethiopia, where some journalists were arrested more than a month ago, and an activist too. Activist's name is Tinay Belay. 2 days ago, I said that she had been released. Now we have an update that she was granted bail, but police did not release her. Same is the case with some journalists, Ashara media journalists and Nisir media journalists. Several of them were arrested more than a month ago. All have been granted bail. Ashara media journalists, Nisir media journalists, and Tinay Belay. They were granted bail. Their family members, they went to Bahidar prison so that they could receive the prisoners after their release. But these prisoners have not been released. Tinay Belay and other journalists, Tinay Belay is an activist, she's an activist, all have not been released so far. Instead, reportedly, they have been taken to Addis Ababa from Bahidar. Despite a court granting them bail, police did not release them. So police might file an appeal against their bail order, or they'll be kept in detention, and it will be said that they are not in police custody. It happens that security forces abduct people and they don't acknowledge their arrests. So Ashara media journalists, Nisir media and Tinay Belay all have been reportedly shifted from Bahidar prison to somewhere in Addis Ababa. Fifthly, we have a clip for you of Nama party leaders, Nama opposition political party based in the Amhara region of Ethiopia, part of the government as well. Belate Molla and Tahir Muhammad held a press briefing, I think 2 days ago. Belate Molla is party's chairman, Tahir Muhammad is public relations head of the party. And in the press briefing, some journalists asked tough questions about Nama's position regarding killings of ethnic Amharas, because Nama is part of the government too. And Tahir Muhammad suddenly lost temper. He was very rude with journalists. It was as if he was going to hit journalists. We have this clip for you. Watch this clip, the next news story.
አንተ ማን እዚህ ሰው ነው በመካር ነው የምትናገር አይደለም አንተ ከዚህ ተቀምጠ ሰዎችን ካሪ ብለ ለመናገር ምንም አይነት ፍቃድ የለም ጥያቄ ካለ ትጠይቃለህ እንጂ ልትጠይቅ እንጂ ልትሳደብ አልመጣም ካልሆነ ትወጣለህ ምክንያቱም ለማወቅ ስለፈለኩ
Lastly was Tigray. Government today distributed money among some displaced persons displaced from border areas, Tigray, Eritrea border areas. More than 1,000 IDPs were given cash. These IDPs were displaced from Oromo, Zalambasa, Sebia, Gulo, Makela. And around 70 to 80,000 dollars were raised by a YouTube channel run by Seletine Girme. Seletine Girme's YouTube channel's name is Tafitabi Talk Show. And he helped raise money for the people who have been displaced in Tigray. I think Seletine Girme is an Eritrean. The money was sent to Tigray, and Tigray government today distributed this cash among around 1,025 people who have been displaced from Tigray, Eritrea border areas. You can see the pictures on your screen. You can see Tigray government officials distributing money to IDPs in Tigray.